Hi soulmates, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Tekla Ezugu, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to achieve this beautiful dress with a flower. And this is actually the first of a three-part series, and this is going to be the pattern drafting of this dress. So if this sounds like something that I like to learn, like this video, subscribe, and remember to turn on your notification bell so that you, my precious one, will be the very first person to know any day and any time we upload new tutorial. So let's dive into the video. So for this very tutorial, this particular video is the pattern drafting, and this is going to be a three-part series. So we are going to cover how to cut everything from the front to the back and then to the cape in this particular video. So I will urge you to pay a very detailed and close attention. So for the front pattern, I have already gone ahead to mark out my basic lines, my horizontal lines. So I also divided my bust span into two, which I marked down 4. Then on each part of the line, I took out 1 inch on both sides. And this is going to serve as my dart line. So on each part, you are going to take out 1 inch for your under bust tightening or for your under bust dart. Then you are going to go ahead to connect this to your bust point. For this particular video, I am going to urge you to pay very close attention to your screen so that you do not miss out anything or any point at all, so that you can be able to follow us as possible. I am also going to try to be as detailed as possible so that you can be able to understand how I was able to achieve this. So for the neckline, I went ahead to mark 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch. In as much as we are not going to use this neckline, but I'm just marking it down so that you can be able to have a clear view of what we are doing. Then on the shoulder slope, I went ahead to come down by 1 inch. On the shoulder line, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, right? So after doing this thing, I was just cross-checking my lines. After doing this, you are now going to mark your armhole curve. So I just placed my ruler and I drew out my armhole curve. Then for this particular dress, we are going to be doing a shoulder dart. So on my shoulder line, whatever I have left from that shoulder tip to my neckline, I went ahead to divide it into two, and I am going to connect it to the bust point like so. Can you see what I have? So this is exactly what I did. Then right now, you now determine how low you want your off shoulder to be. For me, I used about 6 inches. You can use 5, you can use 7. It depends on whether you want it high or you want it low. So I decided to come down by 6 inches for mine, just the way you saw me mark the ruler. I would also like to say that all the lines in this video are actually straight. It's just the way the camera was placed that actually made it look like some is slanted. Then on the inner side of my pattern, I came in by 1/2 inch. This place I'm covering now. And on the other side, you can decide to come out by 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch. But for me, on this other side, I came out by 3/4 of an inch. And I am just going to go ahead to curve that back to my bust point. So I hope you are following. If you didn't get up to this point, go back and catch up with us so that you are not left behind. So now that we are already at this part of the video, please go ahead to give us a thumbs up so that YouTube can be able to recommend this video to other tailors like you. Then I marked my round bust divided by 4. My round bust is 40 divided by 4, which is 10. And then I marked my waist divided by 4, 7.5. Then I added the 2 inches that I took back to it, and I had about 9.5 or thereabouts. So I then went ahead to connect that line from my waist to my chest line. Then for my bust point dart, yes, we are going to add a bust point dart. I came down by 1.5 inches on my bust point, and I am now going to go ahead to connect that, I connected that, and that is going to serve as my bust point dart. So now that we have taken the waist dart, the bust point, and then the over bust tightening, at this point I was just cross checking to see what I have. So I am just going to mark down the line where it aligns with the other parts. Like on the first line I got about 5 inches and one line, so I'm just going to make sure that the other side corresponds to this for now. So we are just going to leave it like that for now. So I came down by about 1/4 of an inch and I reconnected my line. This is also going to help me to be able to connect my armhole curve. So because this dress does not have a sleeve, you definitely don't want it so tight on you. So from the initial place that I had my armhole curve, I came in by 1/2 inch, and I am just going to go ahead to now reconnect that line back to the place that I came in by 1/2 inch. I hope you were able to understand that. So the place I had my armhole curve initially, I just had to come in by 1/2 inch there, and then I reconnected it. Then on my bust point line, I am actually going to determine how wide I want my illusion part to be. Please remember that this dress has a center illusion. So because I didn't want it so wide, I decided to come in by 3/4 of an inch on my bust point. Now you can decide to come up by 1 inch instead of doing this directly on your bust point. And if you come in by 3/4 of an inch, kindly note that the amount that will be open on your bust point is 1.5 inches, because we are actually assuming that this is on fold, right? So you can decide to come in by half, you can decide to come in by 3/4 of an inch. You can also decide to come in by 1. So I just connected it about 1 inch above my waist, and I am just going to place my curved ruler and then connect it to the very first place where I have my first dart leg, right? So this line is going to serve for the illusion part of this bustier, and it is also going to serve as a guide for us to get our cape or our shoulder band. Remember that this is an off-shoulder dress, right? So right now you can see what I have. This center part is going to serve as our illusion part. So I decided to also determine where my illusion part is going to start, depending on how you want your cleavage to show. For me, I use about 8.5. If you want it more close, you can use 8, right? If you want it deeper, you can also use 9. Now this thing that I am marking now is my illusion net. This is what I'm going to use to cut out my illusion net. So I am literally trying to determine where the illusion net is going to start. Do you understand? So eventually I started at 8.5 inches, which is 8.5. So that place that I connected that line down to the place I stopped before the waistline is exactly where my illusion part is going to be. So I am trying not to rush this video so that you can be able to understand every part and every point of this video. So if you missed anything, please go back and then rewatch so that you can be up to speed with us. And if this is your first time coming to my channel, please go ahead now to subscribe. We have so many detailed tutorials on the channel on corsets, ready to wear dresses, outfits, so you can just check that out after this tutorial, right? Then if you are a subscriber to this channel, thank you so much for being here, and I hope it is worth your while. I also hope that you have been learning a lot as well. So in order to close up my bust point dart, I opened my dart and then I was able to close up the dart on my bust point, just the way you actually saw me marking. So for my front cape, I am going to mark a slanted line from my shoulder slope, a line that is a little bit more slanted than my shoulder slope, and I'm going to come out by 2 inches on that part. Then I am also going to mark another line down. Are you seeing the way I'm placing my ruler? Another slanted line down. below the first one that I marked, and on that particular point I am going to go ahead and mark out a line. Can you see what I have? So the width of my band or my cape is actually going to be 2 inches. I want the width to be 2 inches. So from that first place that I came down by 2, I am going to now curve the line to my first dart leg. Please pay attention to your screen. I am going to curve the line to my first dart leg, and I'm just going to try everything as much as possible to smoothen the line so that it can have a very nice curve. Remember that this dress actually has a cape or a band from the front part to the back. So it is not just straight at the front. So it is actually that band or that cape that we are trying to draft now. So you can see the way I am fleshing out that. Then on the second line that I came down with, I now marked 2 inches. This is the width of my band. If you want it more than this, just go ahead to mark 2.5 or 3. So right now I am going to use my chest line as a guide to where I want my line to first connect. So I'm just using my chest line as a guide, and you are just going to try to position your ruler in a way that will look nice and smooth. So you can see what I have now. You can also see that our cape is already coming out nice, and I am also trying to position my curved ruler to get to the down part of where my illusion neckline is actually going to stop. So you can actually see what I am doing there, and you can see that this coming out exactly the way it is on the dress. So if you like this thing that we were able to achieve, please go ahead now, like this video, and please pay attention so that you can learn more. I would also like to say that our online class is ongoing. You have registered. If you have registered for our online class, a lot on our corset class that is very, very, very detailed. So all you have to do is click the WhatsApp link in the comments, and it will bring you directly to my WhatsApp. So right now, let's continue from the back. So for the back of this dress, I've already highlighted all my horizontal lines like you can see, and I divided my shoulders, my bust span as well, and then I'm going to have half inch on both sides and connect it to my bust points. I would also like to say that my back is actually 1 inch shorter than my front. This is because the length of your shoulder to your waist on the front is actually bigger than the length of your shoulder to your waist at the back. So I just went ahead and mark out my measurement, and then I connected it back. I would also like to say that there is no allowance on this pattern. All the allowance that we are going to use on this dress, we are actually going to put it on our fabric. So for now, I am not adding any seam allowance or any stitching allowance, right? So just pay attention, and then let's work on the back pattern. Then for the back pattern as well, I am going to determine how many inches I want to come down with. And because on the front part I came down by 6, I also decided to come down by 6 on the back part. If you want yours higher than mine, you can decide to go up. I will encourage you to use the same measurement that you used on the front part for the back part as well. Then I also came in by half inch on my armhole curve, and I am just going to go ahead to connect that. I would also like to say that registration for our content calendar group is ongoing. It's a group where we share tutorials that you can share online or do offline every day. So the class or the group registration is just 1,000. All you have to do is click the link in the comments, and it will bring you directly to my WhatsApp. And you can also click the cell link on our bio to have access to it if you are not from Nigeria. So that particular thing that I did on the front of my shoulder, I also went ahead to do it on the back of my shoulder, just exactly the same thing. And I am actually going to be connecting it to that 6 inches band, 6 inches length that I have for my back. Are you seeing the way I'm doing it? Then remember that the width of our band is 2 inches. So I'm just going to mark out that 2 inches, and I'm now going to connect the other line to it. Can you see the way I'm just positioning my curved ruler? Just calm down, relax, pay close attention, and when you are actually marking this on your fabric, I will actually encourage you to be detailed and to focus so that you do not miss any point at all. Then, because I am going to sew band directly to my fabric, I am going to extend my armhole line to stop at that particular place where my band is going to stop as well. So I am just going to go ahead to through that with my marker pen, and that is exactly what you can see me marking, right? So you can see the way I am doing that. So by this way, our back pattern is ready, and we are now going to go ahead to duplicate what we have here on another pattern so that we can be able to cut out the cape. So I am going to I brought a fresh pattern paper, and I am going to go ahead and mark out my zipper allowance first. Are you seeing the way I'm doing this? Remember that this is actually going to have a zip allowance. So I just went ahead to make out 2 inches space for that. That is exactly you can see me marking. You can use any zipper allowance that you want. You can use 1, you can use 1.5. For me, I tried to use 2 inches. And I'm now going to place my back pattern starting from that particular place where I marked my 2 inches, right? So I'm just trying to hold that down. Now, what we are about to do is that I want to trace out my back pattern on another fresh paper, right? So that I can be able to now cut out the cape. Because from the way this thing is looking right now, if I decide to cut out the band or cape, whichever one you choose to call it, it is actually going to affect my back pattern. And because I want this cape to be sitting on my back pattern, that is the exact reason why I am duplicating the back. So right now I am cutting out every particular place that I am 100% sure that I am not going to use. Please, I want you to pay attention to that. So every part I am cutting now is the part I know that I do not even need it for this dress at all, right? Then I am now going to the other side as well. Please pay close attention to what I am cutting so that you do not make any mistake. At this, I'm trying to duplicate what we have on the other side, and on that other side I am now going to get the back pattern, right? So I am just going ahead now to through that line, starting from my armhole curve to the place where my band or cape is going to sit. So I am just going to go ahead now and cut that on the inside. Sorry you didn't see the line, but just know that it is this line that is on top that I went ahead to cut. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to separate the band or the cape from the pattern. So by this way our back pattern is ready, right? So this is our back pattern, and I'm now going to use the original one to cut out the cape. Can you see what I'm doing? So assuming I did this out like this, the back pattern is not going to reach. So this is going to be our cape. I am just going to place that back so that you see what we have. Then because I want my cape to enter inside my zip allowance, I am also going to go ahead to extend band or the cape to the zip allowance, right? So I am just placing another pattern paper there, and I am just going to go ahead to tape it together or to gum it together. So I have already done that off camera, and this is my back band. So this is exactly how it is going to sit on my back, right? So right now let's do some contouring on the back so that it doesn't bump. On that my zip allowance, I decided to come in by 1 inch so that I do not have excess allowance on my waist. And then because I'm going to be joining this to the skirt part, I also came up by half inch please on the waist part, and I connected it to the tip of my back as well. So I'm going to go ahead to cut that out, right? So you can see exactly the way I am that. So by this way our back pattern is ready. So let's now continue working on the front. This is exactly how this cape is going to sit on my dress, right? So I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you followed up to that moment. So on the front part as well, I am also placing it on another fabric, sorry, on another pattern, and I also went ahead to extend the armhole so that I can be able to out the front pattern before cutting out the cape. Now this front part is actually more than the back. I also went ahead to extend this line, my bust line, so that it can be able to be touching the band when I am joining it. In the tutorial, you will see how we join it, so you will just have a better and clear understanding of what I'm saying. So I just went ahead to pin my pattern papers together, and I'm now going to go ahead to cut out every part that I know that I do not need for this dress. Starting from that place that I want my illusion neckline to start, I am just go ahead and cut out every part that I know that I am not doing anything with it as far as dress is concerned. And while I was cutting, I was owning so that I do not mistake any parts. Then I would also like that we have a WhatsApp community of tailors where you can get to join other tailors if you want. It is just a community of tailors alone where you can get to ask questions and maybe other tailors can help you. And you can also join if you are interested, right? Then I also have a pricing formula for tailors. If you are sewing for clients or you are into ready to wear, you definitely need this pricing formula. It is just 5,000 naira. You can use the link on our bio to get yours, and you can also use the WhatsApp link to message me directly on WhatsApp so that you can get access to your own. This is going to help you to know exactly how to price your business for to be profitable, and all the necessary costs that you should add before sending out price to any client, because it won't be right for you to be just sewing and not knowing the right way to price your business or how to make profit, right? So now that I've cut out every particular part that I am not going to need, I am now going to go ahead to cut out the part that is going to be for my illusion, right? So you can see how it looks. I'm just going to go ahead to tape both of them together because they are actually one. So this is going to be my illusion neckline, right? Then I am now going to also go ahead to continue cutting on this particular part. So in order to cut out my cape and then my bust as well, I went ahead to trace that particular armhole line on the other part of the paper. So you can try to use the up part as your bustier. You can also use the down part as your bustier. On the second note, I decided to use the new pattern paper that is beneath for my band or for my cape. So I just went ahead to trace that out, and I also went ahead to use my marker to trace it out the on my new pattern, right? So right now that I've done that, I am now going to separate that, and I will now cut out my cape. So you can actually see how my front cape is now looking, right? So this other pattern is of no use. You can see the front cape. I would also like to say that on this bustier part, I forgot to extend my first dart leg so that it can be the same length on the second dart leg. If you actually don't extend this, then it means that your fabric is going to be shorter. The center part is going to be shorter than the side part. So I am going to take note of that when I am cutting on my fabric. You can also decide to trim it out if you want. So right now we are still going to continue working on the cape until we get exactly what we have. And I hope you have liked this video. I also hope that you are looking forward to the sewing tutorial as well. So I am just placing the patterns together so that you can see exactly what we have, and you can see my front cape or my front band. You can see the way I've placed it. This is exactly how we'll be joining it on our fabric, and you can also see the back part. So please pay attention so that you see how I am actually joining this cape together, so that you do not make mistake when you are joining your own. Can you see how I am joining it together? I have to place it together to make sure that the right place is where I am taping down. So I went ahead to gum that together. If you would actually have an issue with this, you can decide to use an arrow to mark it when cutting. Please rewatch that part and see how I joined my back together. Can you see how this is looking, right? So I'm just placing it so that you can have a clear view of what we have. So guys, this is where we are going to stop for this particular part. And if you are actually looking forward, if you want to see the sewing tutorial, please go ahead to tell me that you want to see the sewing tutorial. And also remember to like this video. This is a way of encouraging me, and I can't wait to see you in the sewing tutorial. It's still your girl Cla. Bye. Subscribe.